Hey guys, Anthony Delmedico, SVG. I'm here with Charlie Cina.
What's up, Matt?
What's going on, Charlie?
How's everything?
Good. Charlie's with the Lightspeed Virtual Training. Today we're just having a brief discussion on high-performing individuals and organizations. What makes, specifically, a winning NFL team, a winning NFL team? What makes them go to the Super Bowl? Why is it usually a different team every year? What makes the highest paid athletes, the highest paid actresses and actors, the best companies out there, the Coca-Colas, the McDonald's? What makes these companies, these athletes, these superstars, these NFL teams, what makes them different than the average? Why are they in the top 2, 3, 4, 5% of the population? What are they doing differently, Charlie?
Well, a couple keywords come to mind, right? One is commitment. That's number one. Commitment to what? Commitment to being the best. What does it take? It takes practice, it takes role play, and it takes repetition. And if you look at any athlete, from back in the day when Michael Jordan dominated the space, Dwayne Wade, Kobe, Wayne Gretzky, all these guys practice their craft each and every single day.
So you mean it's not good enough just to say, hey man, I want to be rich. I want to be the winning NFL Super Bowl. I want to make it to the Super Bowl, or I want to be everybody says they want to make a lot of money or they want to be successful, but what you're saying is there's a certain people that do things a little differently every day, every week, every month, and they execute on a daily basis.
Yeah, I think people complicate the formula. When I was at SVG, I heard a lot of people say, "Hey, man, I want to generate more revenue. I want to hire better people. My people aren't performing like they should." One guy looked at me and said, "Man, my people suck." And I said, "Well, how do you train them?" And he looked at me with this like deer in the headlights look. I said, "Man, if your people suck, you need to look in the mirror because you're accountable." So it just amazes me that companies, from a simplistic standpoint, don't even meet with their teams once a month, let alone once a week, let alone once a day for 15 minutes.
The key word, Charlie, that stood out to me is training.
No
training.
question.
So whether you're a company, whether you're an individual waking up every day, maybe running sprints because you're trying to make that football team, or your football team's trying to go to the next level, or you're an entrepreneur,
right,
starting a business, the individuals and organizations that get up every day and train, and hold people accountable. So organizations or leaders or coaches would hold their members accountable to train.
No question.
And that's how they create winning organizations or teams or companies. Individuals out there, entrepreneurs or even sales associates, hold themselves accountable to training. And training is the key. Training and getting out there and executing is absolutely key to success.
Well, again, you hear these terms, lead by example. But if you're an owner of a company, you're a manager, you need to educate in order to elevate yourself first, in order to dominate your space. So I always use the words educate, elevate, dominate. And again, those just aren't words that rhyme or sound good. If you as an owner or a manager are waking up every day and educating yourself, now you could bring that to your team. Because a lot of people assume that their people should know. People don't know. People need to be led, and people, in most part, need to be told what to do. So if you plug them into a daily ritual or training where they can learn just one word track or one move or one technique.
One door knock. One inspection, one estimating skill.
Man, that gets them a win. Now they get a win, they come back. Hey, Anthony, I knocked 3 doors, I got 3 proposals to go out.
Right.
Well, great, those 3 proposals are going to turn into one deal.
Well, the traditional model of training, and I used to own a construction company across 18 states, and holding that together, and we used to do a lot of training because I'm also ex-military, and the military is very, very focused on systematic training.
Right.
And also bringing in new recruits, and always in a systemic state of recruiting and training, which is why they're a winning organization. The military, the U.S. military, wins wars. We're the number one on the planet because we have a great system of recruiting and training new recruits into this system and culture.
But it's consistent. When you're part of
it's consistent every day.
Every day,
yeah.
right?
Even when you've been in 3, 4, 5 years, there's training regiment. Doesn't matter how long you've been in, you got to go out and train, you got to go out in the field and train, you got to go do different drills and training. No matter how long you've been in, there's different training regiments for all classes of soldiers. It's an ongoing process because training, they realized a long time ago that training is the key to winning and keeping people sharp, keeping performance standards high.
No question. Again, when I was there, you ask people what they do. I guarantee you that if you walked into any operation and you walked into a roofing company's sales team and you asked that salesperson what they did, every single salesperson would give you a different message. Now, it sounds simple, but having the right message to market so your people know exactly what you do and how you do it, and there's consistency from the time the girl answers the phone to the guy that's knocking the door to the time that when you complete a job, is huge. So again, what you've done is unprecedented. I mean, literally somebody could, again, and we're not.
But you can apply that to, that's, our industry's construction, but that applies to any company.
Anything.
When you go through the drive-thru at McDonald's, what does that one guy or gal say?
The
Do you want any
thing.
fries with that?
Same thing.
That
every
one
time.
question, now that's their culture, but everybody asks that. Do you want any fries with that? Do you want any drink with that? That one question has added millions and millions of dollars of revenues to McDonald's. So this is just one little thing of 10,000 that can incorporate into culture that increase revenues, consistency, and performance standards.
And here's the other thing. When you as an owner or manager are educating yourself and then you're educating your people are educating your clients, right? So now it becomes education-based marketing and education-based sales. Now that's the differentiator between you coming in and educating me as a client versus the guy that's just going to say, hey, sir, or hey, ma'am, you got damage on your roof. Here's the bid. Let me know if you need.
Now a lot of guys are training out there, Charlie. They're having they have the traditional sales meeting even once a week.
Right.
They take their guys out. I see, I'll use the construction industry as an example because a lot of guys watching this right now might be in that industry. But, they take guys out once, they knock a few doors. This is how you inspect a property. This is how you sign a deal. And that's it. And then maybe they go back a couple weeks later and follow up with them. And half those guys fall off because they didn't have access to consistent, repetitious training 24/7.
No
The
question.
days of bringing somebody out and just show them a few things. Look, everybody learns differently. Some people can pick that up right away. A lot of people these days got ADD. They got 20,000 things going on and needed to access that same pitch, that same inspection, that same door knock, how to write an estimate, how to meet an adjuster. Different individuals might need to access that set of training 20, 30 times to perfect it.
Well, and here's the real misnomer is the wrong word. Let me just give you an example. I mean, we're in here with all these high performance machines, right? And
these aren't high performance. These are just little cars like that.
John's got, I think his name is Sergio in the back, mechanic. I went back there. This guy's got wrenches on top of tools, on top of lifts, on top of jacks, on top of lubricants, on top of, right? Every single thing you need to service a high performance machine. So if you want your people to be high performance machines and you're not sending them out there with the right tools. Now, what are the right tools for a sales guy that's going in the field? Number one, does he look good?
Right.
Is he wrapped? Does he have, a logo
Does he have the
shirt?
right documents? Does he have the right things in
it?
it? Yeah.
Absolutely. Is he saying the right thing when he walks to the door? Is he knocking and saying, hi, I'm here to bid your roof, or is he saying, hi, sir, my name's Charlie Cina. What's your name? Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith, do you have, that whole introduction? It sounds basic. It sets the whole precedent for the sales process.
Well, then what do you do 3 weeks later, after the adjustment, when the check comes? How do you sit at that kitchen table and contract the job? What kind of contracts do you fill out? How do you make sure that customer pays their deductible? How do I drop that price and get lit up? All those little things take training and time. And what happens is, a lot of managers, leaders, owners, they show them once or twice, and they think that's enough, and it's not. It's multiple situations and skits of being through different scenarios with different customers that increases that performance standard and that training value to the individual.
No question. And here's what I've noticed from a lot of owners, not just in the construction or roofing industry, but numerous industries. When it's a sales-related business where you have to go out and acquire that customer and get that customer acquisition, people think that there's one silver bullet. I love, there's one guy out there saying, and I'm just using this as an example, business cards are dead. Business cards aren't dead. You should know how to properly present someone with your business card. Now, is that the be-all catch-all? No. Properly saying, hi, what's your name? Properly following up.
Well, most people don't know how to look somebody in the eye and say, my name is Anthony Delmedico, I'm with so-and-so,
Right.
da, 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 da. A lot of these younger guys forgot how to do that because they're so used to doing this.
Right.
And so just teaching the basic personal communication skills, especially cold calling, man, it's not easy walking up to somebody these days.
It's not.
That you've never met before and say, hey, my name is this, it's what I do, da 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 da. That's like a dying breed of people out there.
No question. But again, to your point, what happens after you do the knock, you get their attention, you give them a bid? What about when they don't answer your
Well, we
badge?
actually don't always give a bid. Sometimes we do, but usually it's later on with the insurance adjuster, but the same thing.
Right, but
Yeah.
again, what I'm trying to impress upon everybody is there's not one silver bullet. So how do you follow up and follow through? How do you have the different techniques to reach out to that person and give them the tools that they need to ultimately close a deal and acquire a client?
Yeah. And in insurance restoration, which is our industry or my industry, there's so many nuances. Like a sales associate is not just a door knocker, and not just someone that inspects and signs a deal. That's a traditional sales associate. They're also a project manager. They're also meeting with engineers. They're also meeting with insurance adjusters. They're writing very detailed estimates matching up with the insurance company's estimating program. They have to learn how to read the insurance company estimate. So it's really a left brain, right brained activity.
It's a very educated
sales is a very
process.
right brained activity. All the other stuff that comes into project management for a typical sales associate in the insurance restoration industry is a very left brained activity. Very technical stuff that they have to learn. What do I do when that adjuster says no? What do I say? How do I win in appraisals? What is an appraisal? How do I discuss an appraisal process with a customer? All these things take months and possibly years for some guys to figure out. And we have all that in the training so they can access at any given time, no matter what step they're at in that process, from A to Z from that customer from start to finish. What do I do when that customer doesn't want to pay me the final check? I got some dented gutters. I got some nails in the driveway. They're holding a $30,000 check. How do I handle that situation? Well, max bottle retainage industry average, Mrs. Smith, is 5%. You owe me $13,500. You can keep the $1,300 until we fix your punch. That's retainage is normal in our industry.
Right.
We were going to fix your punch, but you got to pay us the $13,500. Now I know how to say that after years being in this business to get that 90% or that 95% of that contract collected. But if that new sales associate, that manager, that AR manager, that owner, if they don't even understand what retainage is, and a lot of these guys don't,
right,
or how to flex retainage as a contractor. They got cash flow problems. Salesmen ain't getting paid. They're not paying their bills because they're simply not flexing retainage, which is, one of 1,000 things in our AR courses for sales associates, AR managers, and owners inside the program.
Well, let me give you a prime example. The other day I called you. My best friend Chris lives in outside of Fort Lauderdale, a little town called Weston, Florida. Right? He got hit with that storm back in when it was December, Christmas time.
Yeah,
right?
Irma.
Never did anything with it. He called a roofing company, and he calls me and he says, "Man, it's going to cost me about $10,000 for my roof out of my pocket." To which I said, "Hang on, don't do anything," right? I said, "My good friend and client is one of the main guys in the industry, knows everybody. I called you, right? You referred me to a couple different people."
Well, I sent you a couple of SVGU clients.
Right.
I always give leads to our clients.
Right. So my buddy called, 3 or 4 of the people out there that he said, "Hey, give these people a call." Long story short, those people that came out didn't just give my friend Chris a bid for his roof.
Probably gave him a whole education process.
He didn't even know that he was entitled to insurance. Like literally, it looks like he's going to get a whole new roof. He's calling me saying, "Man, I owe you." I said, "Well, you don't owe me. You owe Anthony." You owe Anthony. So again, I want to thank you for that. But that's my point, right? People aren't educating the customer. So as an owner, you have to educate your team. You have to educate your sales guys. From the girl that answers the phone to the guy that's knocking the door.
It's a whole team. It's a whole team.
Everybody needs the same message.
That's why, in SVGU recently launched it's called a new position hiring orientation for every position needed in a $20 million plus roofing and restoration company. It's not just a sales associate. And SVGU is not just about sales. Production, AR, we call sell, build, collect, the 3 pillars of success. If you don't put systems and procedures and training in place in all 3 of those areas, there's actually more. That's just the basic 3. Sell, build, collect. You're gonna have a problem as an entrepreneur.
I believe the guy's name is Edward Deming, business guy. Went I think to Japan or Asia and helped them systematize back in the day after World War II. 94% is his quote of success is based upon you having the right system. Because if you have the right system, then you can pretty much pull anyone in, right? That's knows how to read, write, and is cognizant, and plug them into the system and have a winning equation. And to your point with McDonald's, that's why when you buy a McDonald's franchise,
operational excellence,
you win. Yeah.
2 pickles on every burger. They got it down to a science how to make those burgers. That burger tastes the same in San Francisco as it does in New York. Now I know they put some different seasonings on the ones in Germany and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, the process is the same.
Did you watch that movie, The Founder?
Great movie.
Yeah, if you guys haven't watched that movie, watch that movie, and that'll tell you about systems.
So guys, to wrap this up, look, everybody says they want to become, not everybody, but most people, Americans, want to become rich. They want to create these multi-million-dollar companies. They want to be successful entrepreneurs. Maybe you just want to be a successful athlete. I don't know who's watching this right now. Could be somebody in my industry, could be somebody somewhere else. But you have to set yourself up with a commitment, set a goal, have a financial target, a commitment. But everybody does that too. People set goals. But what separates that 5% from the other 95%, I think, is executing like a maniac
every day
to achieve that goal.
Every day.
And look, one person can't train in 30 people. I don't care how motivating you are. I used to do that too when I ran between 18 states. I don't care how much you know. It's not about you as the entrepreneur. It's how much of that information can you disseminate to 5 people, 10 people, 50 people simultaneously 24/7. It can't be done by one human.
No, it can't.
It can't even be done by a team of key managers. And this is why I went to virtual training, which is Lightspeed. So now I can train thousands. We're training thousands of contractors and their teams right now today. There could be thousands of people watching today. Might be a sales guy learn how to knock a door. Might be a production manager learn how to use a change order. Might be an AR manager learn how to use a certificate of completion at the right stage of the job to get their money released faster so the contractor can get paid. It might be a guy learning how to launch his first Facebook ad as a roofer to generate a lead in some course we have in a marketing course. So all these things, we're able to train people simultaneously. The technology is great. That's why I brought you in here today, Charlie. I want to kind of explain the philosophy behind Lightspeed and how it's applicable to our industry, and really for any entrepreneur or successful person out there, and how they're separating themselves by using something like systematized training, because I believe that's the key to scaling anything.
I know that there's a lot of people out there in the industry, your industry, that don't really see or maybe appreciate what you've created, because you've taken 18 years of your boots on the ground training, from knocking a door, right? From getting the door slammed on you, from knowing the right word tracks to say, right? How to close the deal, how to hire, how to deal with the insurance adjuster, how to have the right verbiage in your contracts so you can get paid. Again, your 3 pillars are what?
Sell, build, collect.
Sell,
Sales,
build,
operation,
right?
collections.
So again, everything that you do. So for anyone that's in the business, like I look at what you've created, I can get into that business tomorrow from zero knowledge and literally scale up and create a company, because I'm going to know everything from A to Z. So to plug into somebody that's done it, right, that's got the good, the bad, and the ugly, essentially that's happened to them, right? It's gotten their head knocked in, right? Also hit it out of the park. Like, I just think what you've created is really something that is second to none, where you're teaching somebody how to take 18, 20, 30 years out of the equation of how to do business and succeed.
Well, but I was fortunate or unfortunate to bump into the sales job by mistake back in '99. So yeah, I did spend 2 years knocking doors. It's a Ferrari, not a door. It's a Ferrari motor, man. It's hurting my knuckles, but I knocked a lot of doors. So I was there cold calling. I know what it's like to be on the streets as a sales associate. Sure. And then a couple years later, launching as a business owner, becoming a licensed general contractor, becoming a licensed roofing contractor in 18 states over 13 years, and having hundreds and hundreds of sales associates underneath me. And now looking at the whole industry from a different level as an owner and key managers, and going through all those pain and problems in production and collections, hiring sales associates, firing people, opening up offices in multiple areas. Yeah, it was a wild run. It was fun. Made a lot of money. A couple years I lost a lot of money, and I basically put all that into the training program, the virtual training program.
Huge.
So each person in that organization, because I've sat in every seat: sales manager, field trainer, sales processor, accounts receivable manager, production manager, QC inspector, sales associate, CEO, general manager. I've sat in every seat, and I know everything A to Z that those positions need to know to do their jobs effectively. And so I probably spent now with Lightspeed the last 2 years putting all that knowledge, training, experience, success and failure into the virtual training and into digestible courses. And now I'm actually bringing other entrepreneurs in. There's stuff I don't know in the industry. So there's something I don't know, if there's a certain roofing system I don't know about, if there's a certain process or CRM, a new CRM or new technology I don't know about. I bring those entrepreneurs and let them teach inside the university, so we can get all that gray matter, not just from me, but from all the specialists and all the best practices in the industry into the SVGU virtual training program.
So let me just say this, and we can wrap it up. What you just said, how you bring in these other specialists. See, not only are you an incredible coach and mentor, but you bring in the best coaches for the things where you're weak to make sure that your clientele and your audience
I don't know everything.
Gets that information.
I'm learning. Sometimes I'm learning in my own courses.
But we all need to be mentored.
I did a stone-coated steel course a couple weeks ago in Florida. I installed a few back in the day, but I never actually got out with those subcontract crews and learned every step of the way. We just shot a course on it with the manufacturer rep in Florida. And believe me, now I know after that 2-week shoot, but now everybody else watching that can now access that data or that virtual video course and test out and learn every stage of how to put on a stone-coated steel roof. And that's something I didn't have access to back in the day. You'd have to go install 10 of them before you learn how to not make these mistakes. Now they can test out on it in the virtual world. All right, Charlie, thanks for coming in. I wanted the viewers to know the philosophy behind, why we use Lightspeed, who you are, kind of our, why do people even use virtual training, and then, what it's all about. See you soon.